Hey, what's up, Josh?
Not much. I'm ready for my new episode.
You are? Well, this is part two or the second one. So we did the episode the other day on the how the workforce is changing because of AI and how individuals can help themselves. Well, today we're going to highlight some companies that we're pretty familiar with that have failed and what some companies can do to not be that.
I'm all about failure. Yes.
Well, I mean, you say it joking, but you and I have this talk, right? You learn the most from either your own failures or reading about, other people's failures.
Exactly.
So we didn't even script that. That was a perfect segue, Josh. So we're going to just talk about some common, failures, right? So Kodak, right?
Yeah.
You know Kodak.
I know Kodak. Kodak,
right? I mean, for you and I growing up, it was synonymous, right? With photography or whatever. It was Kodak was it. But what happened to them?
Well, they got taken out by digital cameras. They did.
They invented the first one, but they didn't see where it was going. And hey, do they still have cameras?
I don't know, honestly, now that you say that. I know they still make film because there are still, there's still people that still do 35 millimeter. They are still doing that, but I don't know if they're making anything.
No, and that was the problem is that the film, because that's a great business model, right? Is you sell a device that needs to be refilled like, gasoline. But they didn't, they stuck to that too long and they didn't, go to the digital route. All right. So Kodak, right? And again, we're going to highlight a few to see maybe some businesses can see themselves in this. The next one is kind of scary and funny is MySpace.
Yeah. MySpace is, it is funny because it's funny. I never got into MySpace, but it was like, I was right.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I never did. And it's funny because I was in the music scene at the time, and it was being used by a lot of the musicians and, put their playlists up and all that stuff. And, I got it, but I was like, I think it was because everything was too slow for me. I didn't have the patience for it.
MySpace had probably what they thought was a good thing is you can customize your page like endlessly. Yeah. So it used to be you go to some page and like animated GIFs, hundreds of them, and they would crash your whole system because it was just too much. But what they failed to do was they didn't anticipate the rise of mobile phones and privacy and some other things. And they just, it was like overnight they went away.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I remember reading somewhere Facebook almost made that same decision and then went all in on mobile because they were like, oh God, they almost were like, we missed it. Like,
oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
they were quick
do you remember
to adapt.
Tom?
Isn't it funny how they were quick to adapt when they realized the problem? How many companies just doubled down on going, no. Yeah. No, I bet Kodak was one. It's just like,
Kodak was one.
I remember in high school when I was a kid, I lived, outside of, I would live in Pennsylvania, but outside of Bethlehem and Bethlehem Steel. They talked about how it was once one of the wealthiest, companies in the world. And they just took all their profits, took all their, and they never reinvested in themselves. So that's what they never reinvested in themselves or reinvented themselves. They just went, no, who else is going to make steel? It's us. And then they got their.
And now where are
that's
they?
what companies do. They don't adapt. IBM's one of the smart ones. They made typewriters. They adapted. They keep adapting.
But what you said is they don't adapt. But you also said that they're like Kodak was stubborn. They stuck to their film, right? Yeah. Which was lucrative, and then ended up being for the demise because they did go bankrupt. So another one, Nokia.
Yeah, it's
stubborn.
Funny. Yeah,
you remember their
phones?
I remember
loving their phones too. I remember.
Right?
Yeah,
but it was the feature phones, and that's what they kept focusing on. Meanwhile, everybody else is got the App Store and iPhone. You can tell I'm not an iPhone user. And so they had these mobile phones with with stores where you get apps, and Nokia is like still on their feature phone. And I have a hard time now looking back. Like, what were you thinking? Did you
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Did you think people are going to we're going to go back this way?
Yeah.
All right. So another one, Xerox. They
Yeah.
invented the graphical UI.
Yeah. They're tech, and you would think they would have maintained and been on the cutting edge, but they're still around.
And,
they're still
they
alive.
Don't go, and then, of course, Blockbuster.
Yeah, poor Blockbuster. They always become like, they saw Netflix coming, kind of poo-pooed it, and again, had money behind them. They had the money, What did they do? Didn't they buy baseball teams and football teams? Isn't that what they did with their money? And then, but Blockbuster had the money, had a model coming up behind them, Netflix, which they could see what was happening, and were late to adopt and never committed.
No, and they were the leader, because if you or I were going to go to rent something back in the day, even if we were going to go to a mom and pop state, we were like, hey, I'm running a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Right? Even if we weren't going to Blockbuster.
Blockbuster became like Kleenex. It was a tissue. It was what you did to watch a movie,
And so Netflix, remember, it used to be the mail order DVDs, right?
Yeah.
And so Blockbuster went into that way late in the game.
Yeah.
And never, it was a total failure. A couple other things on the list before we move on is, because you said it earlier, and it's on the list, is Segway. Remember that was going to change the world. Urban planning was going to be, totally different.
Yeah, I still have a beef with those scooters, the scooters downtown. Bird was the company or something like that.
Bird,
At one point, I saw they were valued at $2 billion, and I went, "Why?"
I don't know what happened.
A couple of them thrown in the canal, and I was like, "Does that cut into your profits?" I'm like, what? I didn't do it either. I didn't do it, but I didn't get it. I didn't get the model.
But whether you did or not, the electric scooters are still growing in popularity.
Well, the bikes are electric bikes. I love when somebody tells us they're going biking and they mean that. I'm like,
dude, have you used a pedal assist bike?
Yeah,
you can get just as much as workout.
No, I know you can, but the people I know using them are not doing them.
They're not, I know who you're talking about too.
Like, I need a bigger battery. If this goes dead, I'm in trouble. Yeah. No, for the party bikes. But again, have you seen how crazy they're getting? That shop we walked past in Old Town Scottsdale is like, oh my God, those bikes. It's crazy.
I can't remember if I told you. So, my mountain bike is kind of expensive. And the same version of my bike from the same company, Pivot, the electric one, is $14,000.
Oh yeah. One of my friends just spent $16,000 on one. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know,
what's a Harley? What's a Fat Boy cost these days?
I don't know.
Probably more than 16 grand, but maybe not much more. Who knows?
So we highlighted industries that are and companies that are failed or gone or whatever because they failed to see the change. And so in this case, we're talking about AI, of course, and these companies, all companies need to rein this in, not rein in IA. They need to rein in their reluctance to change, because this is quicker than those things happen. Like, I don't know right now, Josh, how many years it took for the Blockbuster demise, but I was involved in it, and I started moving away to Netflix.
Yeah.
And then further and further. So it took years. This isn't going to be, for a lot of people, this isn't going to be years, right? For this
no,
AI
exactly.
stuff. So I have a list of stuff I wanted to show. There's 7 different types of jobs. And again, this is only of industries. This is only to highlight what could possibly happen. And so let's take retail companies, right?
Yeah.
And bear with me here. So a retail company is automated checkouts, whatever, that kind of stuff is happening, right? Have you ever been in one of those Amazon stores? I think there's a couple in Seattle and San Francisco.
Just walk out the door, yeah.
You walk in, you walk out, right? So that stuff's going to keep going. But the thing is when you're at a store and you can talk to some AI kiosk or something and get advice on like, hey, I'm looking for a shirt that goes with this, or I need a couple suits, or I need a couple, and you could have something said, oh yeah, and tell you exactly where it is and where to go. You won't have to interact with, a salesperson pushing you to make a sale, right?
Yeah.
And so retail jobs, it's one of the things that's going to be on there. And you and I have talked about customer service. So that industry, right, of all the organizations providing customer service skills, telemarketers, right? Because there's a lot of industries that provide that as a third party. They're all on the chopping block.
Yeah. Yeah. Retail is going to get really interesting because we've all there's grocery stores have toyed with, the QR code on the cart where you just throw the stuff and just read your cart and you just go out. Sam's Club now, it's all self-checkout and they just have like a person standing. I always love the job of the person standing watching you do their job. You're like, I used to do that job. Now I watch you do it for them. They're training you and then they're going to just get rid of me, so, but all of those things. And like you said, customer service, and think of the commission place, like furniture shops, furniture stores, where it's commission based, and it's like, honest to gosh, a furniture store right now, you wouldn't need a person there. You walk in, you see it. No one's going to shoplift a dining room set, but if they're going to buy it, they're going to say, I'll take this. Thank you, robot. Pay for it and walk out the door with it. Yeah.
So let's dump that into a greater realm of customer service type stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That entire industry is going to be upended. And so we'll get to what organizations can do in a minute. But once when I was at ASU, the enrollment department had a chat bot called Sunny, I think it was, and they worked on it for years. But what they had to do is they had to manually put every possible question, every variation of the question. You would ask the same question differently than I did. And then they would have to get answers for it where they're going back to their database. And it's this map that they did. And it took years to do it. And I mean, dude, you could trip this up in 2 seconds, and it was like, okay, it was like, but whatever. But after a couple seconds, everything ended with connect me to a damn person. This level of AI is gonna rip all that apart.
Oh,
it's gonna replace it. So for all of the, I didn't even think about it. You know how a lot of people in different parts of the U.S. complain endlessly if they call customer service and it's like somebody from India and they can't understand them and they make a Karen Facebook post, I'm so tired of it. Well, that's gonna be gone. You don't need to outsource that. As an entire industry that you could replace.
My best part is I was just thinking, let me talk to your manager. Okay. Hi, this is Karen. I'm your man. No, you'll be able to switch. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, person is angry. Bring in Bill.
Yeah, no, bring in the guy with the Australian accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Calm him down a little bit.
Hugh Jackman, stat.
So we touched on this on the last episode. We were supposed to be talking last episode about individual like journalists, but companies like journalism, media, content producing companies. I told you that when a couple months back and I was testing, some of the stuff, I went to like BuzzFeed and Vice News and I took the categories they had. Josh, within 30 minutes, I was able to write trending hot topics of 2 or 3 articles for every of the set. I had almost 30 posts in like 30 minutes. And so what is that going to do for content producing publishing houses like that?
Yeah, I think it's really going to get people like, I think they're really going to start writing right to you, like custom content to you.
That's a good idea. Let's jot that down. I like that.
Yeah, how everybody lives in their own bubble and only wants to hear the news. Like we've always talked about, like, why does cable have all these channels? I only need these 9. I only want to see. It's because you want to see what you want to see. Just with the news, people only want to hear what they want to. They want to hear that, that they want to hear all the crazy stuff they want to hear because it justifies them. Now imagine you can literally custom tailor the content of the news or the way it's told, and think of the power of that. I can tell, because you can tell the same story 3 different ways, yet get to the same, beginning and end. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to tell somebody like, okay, Dean doesn't digest news factually. It needs to be allegoric. So I'm going to tell him, there was a boy who, Oh,
you couldn't come up with one?
No, there was a boy that likes alligators. And, so
allegoric alligators?
No, there was a boy who likes alligators. So one day he looked in the stream and he so wanted to see an alligator. And it so happened he finally met one. But unfortunately, the alligator ate him. Then the other one, in news, a Florida man got eaten by an alligator. There's somebody that wants that story, and then there's somebody that wants the softer version. But the end, that's a terrible example, but there you go.
I like the fact that you said allegory. So Al was in your head, so you went to alligator.
It could have been an owl. Yeah.
An alligator?
An alligator, yeah. Did you just see how my brain worked? Don't tell AI. Yeah.
But your point is really good, and it's interesting, is that cognitive dissonance will be a thing of the past because you'll only get stuff that makes you feel all fuzzy and happy and
well, you could tell it to do that, or you could tell it to I want to be angry all day. Here, tell me all the crap news, because that's apparently that's actually, I don't want to get into marketing because that's actually true though. People, bad news. Angry news is digested 18 times more likely than good stories because you share the bad stuff.
No, you said marketing, right? So let's go to marketing because marketing agencies, marketing departments, they're at risk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the whole department is. Just like they've already been decimated. Like, think of the newspaper. Like, what happened to the newspaper where they all went electronic, and then they found out they could get guys like me to contribute and write articles for them for free. Now they got robots that'll do it for free. By the way, this is not robots, but
and so the whole marketing industry, and so what now we're going to transition. Well, what the hell can you do, right? What would we talk about? Customer service industry. If you're a company and you have customer service offices all over the country or all over the world, and you outsource, your marketing, agency, and you got 4 or 5 locations, whatever. What can you do?
Yeah, that's a good. Actually, I think you should come up with an amazing concept, like writing content directly to people that they want to hear. Yeah, customize it. I just came up with your new company.
But that's what it is you have to adopt this. You can't fight it.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're going to be, let's pick on marketing agencies, right? Because it's, it's our thing. If you're going to fight it and you're going to go sell people, like, you know what? We got real people that are doing everything, and you're billing them for $20,000 a month, and somebody else comes, I got a 12-month marketing plan here for you. Specifically, this is what I'm going to do when, and I base this on what your budget is and what your manpower is and how much you can, what kind of bandwidth you have for new orders coming in and what some of your weaknesses are in closing sales and whatever. And, I've listened to your social media data and I analyze it, and this is what I have, and it's going to be $6,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
It's two different worlds now. And so the point is, you got to be that ladder company.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can plug ourselves.
Company? How are ladder companies going to survive in this time? Okay.
They're not, John. AI is going to climb you to the top.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna plug us. We do it, right?
Yeah.
We teach everybody how to market themselves. We give them marketing plans. Have at it, because we're efficient. We can do things, quicker, and we could narrow down to the things that are going to be the conversion of what you need. If you need a lead or a sale, whatever it is, we can figure that out, and we're going to give it to you. And we can do it quicker and cheaper because we adopt technology. We don't even adopt it. We push this.
That was a shameless plug for yourself.
I know, right?
I liked it. It was good. It was good.
So what else
I can't do that. AI is not shameless.
I don't know. Is it? We should ask it.
Teach it. Ask it. Can you be shameless?
I didn't ask that, but I do get that comment a lot. Like, as an AI, I cannot blah blah. But then it goes and gives me an answer anyway. I'll ask it something maybe slightly risque, and it's like, as an AI, I can't really elaborate on this. But however, and then it gives me the answer. Josh, I wanted to go to one of the things. What can an organization do? And I think this is an important one. And you and I are doing it with our team, is redefine your job roles.
Yeah.
If you're a company and you're producing content and you have people who write, and I'm going to give the example. I told you at that show, I met with several content companies. You pay them $3,000 a month. They give you whatever, 5,000 words, 8,000 words. You meet with one of the writers. You discuss what you want to do back and forth, and then they'll take 3, 4, 5 days, and they'll come back to you with some stuff, and then you edit it back and forth. So you need to rethink your roles that you have if you're those companies that you have, and there's a lot of those companies, because what are those people going to do? They probably need to be prompters, right? You know what a prompter is, because it's kind of a new term now. Now it's a skill set.
Yeah. Can I go on my diatribe about that?
Yeah, please go.
Oh, so I was talking to Dean this morning about being one of my pet peeves in the world, being a musician, is DJs, and how there's DJs that make millions and millions of dollars and they're DJs. And I went like, you're not a musician. Somehow you're considered an entertainer, which I don't quite get. You play music better than you play record. Yeah, you do this and play records better than anyone else. I don't get it, but I finally learned to respect it after Dean gave me a line this morning when he said people producing AI content are now saying, this content was aided, it was assisted in being created by AI and prompted by, and I was like, the DJ. We are the DJs of AI. So I kind of want to change our company's name to DJs of AI, but
DJs of AI.
Yeah.
Wiki wow.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. But that's what we are. We're the DJs of AI. So I now have respect for DJs. And that's all it took. It just took
it took a new
30
perspective.
years, and it took about 30 years. And
so redefine the job roles, right? So we were looking, and we've hired out like content producers. We were looking for in-house ones. Now we redefined it. It's like, you know what? Now we're going to take some of these people, and they're going to be AI content developers, because writing it from scratch and getting one thing done in half a day versus getting 100 things done in half a day. We have the DJ. Let's have them be a DJ. They're the prompter, right? That's what they're going to be called. That's going to be a new job posting you're going to see on LinkedIn. Urgently looking for prompters.
Yeah, prompter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a senior prompter. I'm a senior prompter for the DJs of AI
goes,
company.
Hand in hand with upskilling employees. So you want to redefine roles, and then, dude, take your employees, invest in them right now. Right? Yeah. Have them take some AI course. Have them get on top of this, because you're going to empower them and you're going to benefit your company. You just can't wait on this. So, Josh, I wanted to bring up something that we come across a lot, and it's you have to foster a culture of innovation. And so you and I saying, hey, you know what? You need to redefine some of the job roles. You need to upskill some of your people. How many companies do you and I know, right, that are fairly successful, and we smack our head because they're not going to do this. They're going to fight it. End. So how do you get those companies to foster a culture of innovation?
Yeah, you have to show them. The leaders have to see it in action, see what it's capable of, and then get they're the ones that tell their staff, like, hey, I need you to learn this. I need you to adopt it.
So you're right. We have to get with them.
Yeah, you got to get to the top, because they just won't. They have to see what it can do for their company to truly believe it.
So I think the important thing is they have to collaborate. Right?
Yeah.
if they don't know it, they have to be at least open to collaborate with something. And I already did it once this episode, but I'm sorry, another plug. Call us. Like, hey, we'll get on the phone with you or a video meeting, and we will like help you get there. We will collaborate with you.
How about when this first came out, how we were like, I don't know if I should show this to somebody. They're going to think my job's really easy. They're not going to want to pay us. And I went like, oh, and then I was like, no, just, show them how
Because two reasons. One, transparency. Two, dude, you can't fight it.
Yeah, it's coming. So like I'd rather be the messenger, Oh wait, I always get shot because I'm the messenger. Yeah, but that's whatever. Yeah. I can sleep at night.
Yeah, that's the point. You want to get on it. And so I think that we can tell somebody, hey, develop an effective strategy, right? And to do this and do that. But the thing is the saying, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so you and I come across people like, oh, that's really cool, but can't do this. Well, that's really cool. It's not going to really be able to do that. It's not going to really be able to do this. And so the little things that I've investigated from people that have said that what their niche is, they're wrong.
Yeah,
right.
They're dead wrong, and it's and if it's not like, oh, that's a good idea, I'll make sure I get it to do that.
They're business dead wrong.
Yeah.
What was the one we talked about that Ken brought up? I always forget the.
The bankruptcy. When you're the trustee and you have to prepare the documents for court for bankruptcy, the reports. Yeah. And he's like, when you have to. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting, right? So if you're that business and you're not doing that, well, another business is going to do it.
That's what it was.
Receivership. Yeah, where it's going to become, the cost is going to go down. It's going to be more efficient, and you're going to be like, well, I can't compete with those companies. One of the things that I stumbled on was, foreign to me, not anything, is insurance adjusters.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, anything like that. That's
Imagine the power of being able to research massive amount of data and put and output that.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a company, you're going to have insurance adjusters, and you're going to stay the way you're doing it. You're going to have whatever 100 insurance adjusters, and your competitor is going to say, yeah, I'm going to have 5, and they're going to do it quicker and cheaper and more efficiently. You're going to pay the price.
But is my car insurance going to go down? I like it.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I always wait for things to, go down. They don't. But what's interesting? Inflation's crazy, right? So I was looking at a chart of stuff, right? And houses, as you can imagine, boom, right? Skyrocketing way more than salaries and that. Cars, boom, skyrocketing, all this stuff. But I was looking at some stuff. There's some stuff that actually been going down, and TVs is one of them. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you can get I remember back in the day, I bought a top of the line TV, and it, cost me a fortune. Now you can get a great TV for, under $1,000.
Yeah. It's computers are the same way. It's like the power we're getting for, cars haven't really gotten any faster or any.
No,
they haven't gotten any faster or done anything, and don't get better gas mileage. Our computers have just done this, and the prices stayed pretty much the same.
They're the same, yeah. The car prices are insane. Anyway, so let's wrap this up with my third plug. Hey, we're here. Call us. We'd love to talk to you about it, because what happens is when you talk to somebody who's been doing it outside your industry, you're going to get a fresh perspective. And stay alive. Don't have your business go out of business like Kodak.
Yeah, and you know what? We used to be so busy, we didn't have time to help businesses like yours, and now we have all the free time in the world to help you because of AI.
You're being tongue-in-cheek, but
I'm not.
But we are offering,
efficiency.
Dude, seriously, 10 months ago, 11 months ago, if somebody came to us and asked for some of the stuff that we give away for free, it's game-changing. And so, hey, don't miss the boat. Get on board. All right, bye.
Bye.